El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells is asking the federal government for help as he expects migrants will end up in his city after tomorrow. Welcome back. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. Mayor Wells sent a letter to the government asking officials to meet with him and his colleagues to come up with a plan to send resources. CBS 8's Jesse Pagan is here. He's going to talk to the mayor about his request and why he says the need is so dire. Jesse.
Hey guys, as you see right here, Mayor Bill Wells is here with me. We've covered the extent of the homelessness crisis in East County for months, and Mayor Bill Wells has been vocal about the problems the city is facing and how they're trying to keep up with demands. But this is more so about the issues, the situation that's happening down at the border, just a bit away from El Cajon. So Mayor, let's just start there, given that. What is the situation? Paint the scene for us right now in El Cajon and what your concerns are.
It's a different problem, but there are some commonalities. You know, the homeless crisis that you talked about has really stretched our resources to the very limits. And so now we're being told that we're going to see another 300 to 500 people a day being dropped off at one of our transit centers. And we haven't really gotten any word from the federal government or the state government or even the county government as to where these people are going to go, what kind of provisions are being made for them. And that makes us a little concerned. These people are going to come from a long trip. They're not going to have much money. They have no credit cards. It's going to be hard to get a hotel. Who knows if they have any food? They may need medical treatment or psychiatric treatment. So these are all things that we'd like to have answered.
Let's break all of this down. You say, given the estimates that you put in your letter, 25% out of 1,000 people every day, so about 250 people, give or take, till 300 or 500 at the highest extent. Yeah. What would that look like in El Cajon?
Well, that's the problem. We don't know exactly what it would look like because we've never seen anything like this before. But, I talked to a friend of mine who lives in El Paso right now, and she said, welcome to the migrant problem, because they've been dealing with this for many, many months. And she says that migrants are camped out in her neighborhood right now. So, I hope it doesn't get to that point. I think we're going to have to do something, and I think we're certainly going to have to request help from the federal government.
You've said El Cajon has many shelter beds. That's part of the reason why you guys are kind of highlighted in the way for what we know. Could any of those beds go toward the migrant situation, or are those stretched thin already?
Well, no, actually, one of our biggest shelters, the East County Transitional Living Center, has about 45 beds available right now. So, if it's just that, then yeah, sure, we can fill those up. But I get the sense that this is going to be a daily thing. I don't think it's going to be just for a week. I think it's going to go on for a long time.
Given that, what are you asking for in this letter to the federal government?
Well, I sent the letter to the President of the United States, to the Speaker of the House, and to our local congressperson. And I asked for FEMA to be involved. I asked for funds to pay for the housing and feeding of these people. I asked for some kind of clarification as to what's going to happen to the people. Was there any plan to get them connected with relatives, or are they going to be going out to other cities? How are they going to get there? Who's going to pay for their plane tickets? Just all these things. I would have thought that we would have been talking about this for months now, as opposed to waiting till the last minute with really no instruction whatsoever.
Do you think you'll get the help that you asked for? Does that happen when a small city asks the federal government for help?
Realistically, probably not. But, I think the people of El Cajon expect me to try to do everything. Look, El Cajon's been careful with this money. We have a $68 million reserve. We can afford to do whatever we have to do to take care of the people that end up in our city. We'll probably bill the federal government for whatever we spend. But, I'm not worried about it. We'll make provisions that we have to make. But there's a fairness issue here, and I want to make sure that I protect the resources of the people of El Cajon, but I also want to make sure that the neighborhoods are kept safe.
Sure. For years, El Cajon has been a welcoming community to people who seek refuge. A lot of people, as you detailed in your letter, we've got people from Afghanistan, people from all over the place who are in genuine need of asylum, and they find that in El Cajon. Do you think any people, your constituents, would say, we need to band together, we might have a moral obligation to do this and help these people and continue this legacy that we have? Well,
first off, you're absolutely right. The Chaldean population, which is Iraqi Catholics, we're the third largest city in the world of Chaldean people. Having said that, I believe that the people of El Cajon are some of the best people I've ever known. I've lived all over the country. I really love the people of El Cajon. We're kind of the Bible Belt of the East County. We've got 4 mega churches in our small relatively small town, and I think all the people from those churches are going to want to help, and I think people just from the general population are going to want to help. I don't anticipate there being an unwelcoming spirit, although I think there is going to be frustration with the federal government. But some people, really feel like it's an open border situation. I know that you did a report earlier saying that it's not an open border, but that doesn't account for the fact that we see a 300% increase in the number of people crossing the border in the last 2 years.
What happens if you don't get the help from the federal government?
Then we'll do what we have to do to keep people safe.
Mayor Bill Wells, kind of close this out for us. What are you hearing from your folks throughout El Cajon, and what was the impetus for you to kind of write this letter and reach out directly to the federal government?
People are just wondering what the plan is. I think they have enough trust in our police department. We got a great police department. We got a great fire department. I think they know that we'll keep them safe, but they also want to know what the long-term plan is and what the long-term ramifications are for our city. And I wish I could tell them. I don't really know. And that's part of the reason I wrote the letter, is because I need clarification. I need to find out what the plan is from the federal government's point of view.
All right. And we also know the county has also reached out to the federal government for some help, so we'll see kind of a two-pronged approach.
And, this was a lot of this had to do with a meeting that I had with Joel Anderson, one of the County Board of Supervisors, who suggested I write these letters. He was right to do so, and he's doing good work and trying to figure this all out as well.
All right, El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells, thank you for being with us today. Of course, the crisis at the border is something that we'll continue to follow here at CBS 8. Stick with us for updates on the ending of Title 42 as that comes about tomorrow. We'll have the latest developments on air on CBS8.com, and of course, you can follow us on social media or download the CBS 8 app. Marcella?